Yo, this is a cold opening to the podcast, which I recorded already and then got the news of the announcement of the death of Omer Nuetra, who I've mentioned his name a lot on the podcast. Omer Nuetra, who was born and raised in New York City. Born in New York City and raised in Long Island, where my mother's from, where Jordan Winter of the Dust Brothers is from. Omer loved the New York Knicks, loved playing basketball, loved his family. Omer was a lone soldier, went to Israel, I believe when he was 19, and he was in the army for, I don't think it was a year, in the IDF, and his tank was overrun by terrorists on October 7th, and they have announced that he was killed on October 7th. They announced that within the last 24 hours, and it's terrible, terrible news. Omer Nuetra is born in New York City, raised in Long Island. I had the honor of speaking to his parents many times, meeting them many times. And meeting his parents really put the whole thing in perspective, because his parents, like me, speak perfect English and they're New Yorkers. And to watch them go through what they've been through the last 14 months and literally beg, plead, meet, go to this march, that march, protest, speak at the Democratic National Convention, the Republican National Convention, fly all over the world, meet with President Biden, Blinken, everybody. Up until yesterday, they were in Central Park at a rally begging for the release of their son. And then hours later, it was announced, obviously they got the information first, that the IDF verified that Omer Nuetra had been killed. His body has been held in Gaza since October 7, 2023, and it's just devastating news. It's devastating news. I can't imagine what his family is going through, what his friends are going through, because he was from New York at all. I've met so many people that knew him, went to school with him, and it's just very sad. It's very, 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 very sad, very frustrating. And like I said, for me, when I met his family and Hirsch Pollen Goldberg's family, who are from Chicago, and the Nuetras are from New York, it really put things in perspective. And it was something tangible that I could relate to and that a lot of people could relate to. And I just can't believe they were in Central Park yesterday, Sunday, at a fucking rally, and then have to find this out. So I'm just putting this at the top of the podcast. I don't even know what to say, but I just wanted to share that. It's really, really upsetting, and may his memory be a blessing. Omer Nuetra is dead at 22 years old. He was captured. He was 21 in Gaza and 22 in Gaza. It's fucking insane. Anyway, this is just a cold opening to a fun podcast. The rest of the podcast should be a lot of fun. have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is here. Biggity boom, have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is here. On today's banging, beautiful, fully disruptive I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Where's Mike Tyson? I have not seen any video, any photographs of Mike Tyson since his quote-unquote fight with Jake Paul. He wasn't at the post-fight press conference, and I haven't seen anything from Mike Tyson since, November 15th. Where is Iron Mike Tyson? Plus the Bears. The Bears, they fired their coach. I called for the firing. I'm not saying I had something to do with it, but I'm also not saying I had nothing to do with it. Plus, the great Lou Carnesecca, St. John's basketball coach from the glorious Big East days of the 1980s, has passed away at 99. Remembering Lou Carnesecca, some of the highs and great memories that I have had watching Big East basketball in the 80s. All that morning, high flying, fully disruptive. Oh yeah, it's fully disruptive. Fully disruptive I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast coming up right now. Miles, Jordan, a.k.a. the Bleach Brothers, a.k.a. the Dust Brothers. Stiggity, start this puppy off with something real nice. Start this puppy off with something real loud. But most importantly, start this puppy off with something really funky. Miles, give me something. Give me something with some bass. Give me something with some West Coast bop bass. It's I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Lickety, let's go, baby. Boom, have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is here. Boom, have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast is in the place to be. Hope everybody's feeling real good. Hope everybody's feeling really safe. Hope everybody's feeling really sane. I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Hard body karate. I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Live and direct. I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Kicking, screaming, disrupting across the board. I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. My name is Michael Rapaport. You know who I am. They call me the Gringo Mandingo. They call me the Inflamed Ashkenazi. They call me the Sultan of Sniff. They call me the Raging Bullshitter. I do this. I diggity do this. Hope everybody had a great, fantastic Thanksgiving Day. Hope everybody had a great, fantastic Thanksgiving Day and a great, fantastic weekend. Hope you stuffed your faces. Now we're in December. December 2024. It's over, baby. 2024 is winding down. And I hope when you look back on this year, you accomplished at least some of the things you wanted to accomplish. I hope when you look back on this year, you feel proud of what you did. I really do. I hope you feel proud. Listen, it never goes all your way. It never goes all my way. Trust me. Trust me. It's been a crazy year. It's been a monumental year. It's been a historical year. But I hope when you look back on 2024, you can feel good about more about it than you could feel bad about. Okay, you're never going to feel perfect. You're never going to feel totally phenomenal about all of it. Anyway, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast, live and direct. Holiday season is here. NFL is here. I got a lot to discuss. My first question, it dawned on me the other day. Where is Iron Mike Tyson? Iron Mike Tyson, who obviously on December 15th, it was November 15th, he quote unquote, air quoted, fought Jake the Fake Paul, November 15th. We talked about that. We discussed it, and we've been disgusted by it. But since that day, since that evening of November 15th, 2024, there has been no sightings. There has been no seeings. There's been no tweeting from Mike Tyson. Well, there was that one tweet from him, but where's the photos? Where is Iron Mike Tyson? Where is Iron Mike Tyson? We're heading into 3 weeks since that quote-unquote fight. There hasn't been any photographs, any video, nothing from Iron Mike Tyson. What did you do to Iron Mike Tyson, Jake the Fake Paul? Where the fuck is Mike Tyson? He didn't show up to the press conference afterwards. There was no questions about why Mike Tyson wasn't at the press conference afterwards. He was the draw. He was the reason we all wasted our time, our money, and our November 15th. We're never going to get that November 15th, 2024 evening back. Talk about wasted time, wasted opportunities. Talk about shit stains of the past year. That'll go down in history as one of the most embarrassing things of 2024. The night we all collectively worldwide sat in front of the fucked up streaming event and watched that fight. But since then, nobody has seen or heard from Iron Mike Tyson publicly. Where the fuck is Mike Tyson? Again, I know he put that tweet out a couple of days after the fight. Very heartfelt response, sharing some personal stuff. No pictures, no nothing. I personally think Mike Tyson was injured. I personally think Mike Tyson has suffered some sort of knee injury. I think that it was more than a torn meniscus. I think that Mike Tyson had something severe wrong with his knee. They shot him up. He went out there. I also think that fight was staged. That's just what I think. When I'm looking back on the highlights, I feel like it was fucking staged. And I think that Jake Paul is a pathological liar. The way he presents himself is as of a pathological liar. But I don't give a fuck about Jake the Fake Paul. I want to know where Mike Tyson is. Where the fuck is Mike Tyson? So much football went down this past weekend. And on Thanksgiving, the Chicago Bears somehow, some way were deep into the fourth quarter in a competitive, fun game versus the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions, who have been unbelievable this year. The Detroit Lions, who are kicking ass this year. I mean, it's not a surprise. They turned things around. Great coach. Great, just a great environment. Great vibes. Great enthusiasm. And God only knows that the Detroit Lions and the Detroit Lion fans have been through. I mean, they've been through it. They have been through it for decade after decade after decade. But the Detroit Lions are 11-1. They almost lost to the Chicago Bears, or they almost went into overtime versus the Chicago Bears on Thanksgiving. No thanks to their fucking coach. No thanks to their fucking coach, who was fired the day after. And people say, well, Mike Rapp, what do you give a fuck about the Chicago Bears? You never talk about the Chicago Bears. Do you have a problem with the Detroit Lions? No, I'm going to tell you what I have a problem with. I have a problem with a inept coach fucking with my franchise, my fantasy football franchise. My guy, DJ I Need More, was cooking. And he hasn't been cooking all year. He hasn't been cooking all year. The quarterback, who I can't tell if I like him, I don't like him. But he was looking good, although I don't understand what it is about not being able to slide or run out of bounds. Or he almost got him. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What set me off is my guy, DJ Moore, was finally getting the rock. Ended up with 24 points, 23.7 to be correct. And on their last run to either win the game or get a field goal and tie it up and to stuff it into overtime, it was so poorly handled by their coach, U for Ball. I don't even know this fucking guy's name. R for Ball, Yef for Ball, U for Ball. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They didn't call a fucking timeout. They ran a fucking play and they just shat the game away. Literally shat the game away. And I went crazy as I do because I wanted my guy to have the rock. I wanted them to get to overtime or get a touchdown. DJ Moore. That's the only thing I cared about. That's the only thing I cared about is my guy on my fantasy football franchise, which is a winning franchise. Rapaport's Delight, a.k.a. A History of Minds, a.k.a. Make It Stop, a.k.a. There Will Be Blood. I wanted my guy to touch that fucking rock. And this fuck, you can't have a rookie quarterback out there and he's got the microphones in his ear. They have the audio equipment in their ear. You tell them, call timeout. Don't call timeout. Spike the ball. Do something. You don't just run out the clock with 11 seconds to play at the snap. He's a rookie quarterback. He don't know what the fuck he's doing. So you got fired. I called for his firing. I ranted for his firing. I publicly shamed this fucking guy. And you know what? You did it to yourself, Eberfluss. If that's your name, Uberfluss. And I don't like to take away a job from anybody, and I'm not solely responsible. I'm not even responsible. You did it to yourself, motherfucker. You're not going to blame me. You did this to yourself. This ain't on me. This is on you. This is on your bad play calling, your bad clock management, and just a shit blob season. A shit blob season. Everybody knows it. I know it. Now your services are no longer needed in Chicago. Okay, don't fuck with my franchise, and I won't fuck with you. Uberfluss, Eber, whatever your last name is. Sorry that you're out of a job. Sorry that you're out of a job. And then afterwards you think, I think we handled it perfectly. Really? You actually think that you handled that last drive down the field perfectly? Well, now we just pack your shit. Matter of fact, we're going to have security pack your shit and escort you out of the facility. Thank you. Thank you. You got to leave the facility. We think you didn't handle it perfectly. We know that you think that you did handle it perfectly, and now we have to escort you off the premises. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Goodbye.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
What else is going on? I got myself a new iPhone. Wasted some money on a new iPhone 16 Plus. I'm going to be honest, thus far, I don't see any benefits, any changes in this iPhone 16 Plus. There's a button or two on the side that does nothing, and the camera is allegedly 1,000% better, and you can see the speckle of dust when you take a photograph, and it doesn't do anything. I'm going to tell you something. You could have an iPhone 6. If you're not a good photographer, you're not a good photographer. If you are a good photographer, you are a good photographer. All this 11,000 HD and CBD and KBB and all these buttons and it looks in closer and it goes out wider and it's pixels. It does nothing. I'm a humongous photography fan. I love it. It's something that I love. It's probably one of my favorite forms of art. Like I get off. No diddy. I get off on photography. Black and white photography is probably my favorite, but I like color photography. I'm talking about classic. Street photography is my favorite kind of photography. I would say that my favorite photographer is a guy named Robert Frank, who is just known for a book called The Americans. If you want to get that book, that's a great book. You get it as a gift for somebody. Get it as a gift for yourself. The Americans by Robert Frank. Just a cool little book. It's not even like a ginormous coffee table book. It's probably the most famous photography book ever because when it came out, it was groundbreaking. Anyway, I would say that he's one of my favorites. Elliot Erwitt, one of my favorites. Bresson, Henry Cartier-Bresson, who I probably think is the Michael Jordan of photography. And the reason why I say that he's the Michael Jordan of photography is because he did all styles. He did portraits. He did street photography. He did journalism. He did everything. I love his photography. I got a lot of his books. There's so many great photographers. I mean, I just love it. Annie Leibovitz, obviously known for her portraits. A guy named Steve McCurry, sick. Of course, Ansel Adams changed the game with what he did with the black and white. I love photography, and I don't care who you are. David LaChapelle, fuck with a guy named Gary. I'm just looking at books on my shelf right now. Gary Winograd, Bruce Davidson, love his photography. Yo, Bruce Davidson's books are sick. His photography's awesome. The shit that he did in New York City in the 60s and the 70s, unbelievable. Anyway, I don't care what kind of Apple phone, Apple camera these people shot photographs with. They're going to make shit look good no matter what. It ain't the camera. It's the vision. It's what you're seeing. It's the creativity. It's the imagination. So I have to say my review of my new iPhone 16, that's my review. My review of my iPhone 16 is It hasn't made me a better photographer. It doesn't sound any better if I don't have internet service. I don't have internet service. Thus far, this thing isn't washing my back, isn't brushing my teeth for me. It's doing nothing. It's another iPhone. Hopefully the battery is better in this device that I have than the last one, because my battery in my last phone started dying out too quick. What else is happening? The great Louis Carnesecca, St. John's basketball coach. The great Louis Carnesecca passed away at 99 years old. Louis Carnesecca, what a career, what a personality, what a joy, what an influential coach. He meant so much to so many kids, so many players that came out of the classic St. John's teams of the early 80s and then in the 90s. I'm not sure when he retired, but what can you say? Louis Carnesecca coached Chris Mullin, Mark Jackson, Walter Berry, Boo Harvey, Willie Glass. I know I'm forgetting so many players, but he coached in that such a fun, incredible breakthrough era of Big East basketball. Of course, when Georgetown emerged with the late, great coach John Thompson, Villanova with Rolly Massimino. And, I've never met any of these guys, but you felt like you knew them. Their personalities were they were so vibrant and seemed to love basketball and loved their universities and their colleges that they coached for and loved their players and loved competing and loved each other. And it was such a fun, exciting time. And if you've never seen that Requiem for the Big East 30 for 30. You should absolutely watch it, especially now that college basketball is about to start. Such a fun time. Of course, Jim Boeheim at Syracuse with the Pearl. And every team had their players. Every team had their coaches. And the coaches were as entertaining as some of the players and the broadcast. And it was just such a fun time to watch basketball. And Dick Vitale, and, the games were on and then they were never on again. You'd catch maybe the highlights that day if you were lucky the next day, and that was it. It was etched in your imagination. You'd sometimes plays and highlights we'd videotape them and we'd share them and watch them and talk about them. Yo, did you see what Mark Jackson did? Yo, did you see what Walter Berry did? Did you see what Michael Graham and Georgetown did last night? And Michael Jackson and all those guys on Georgetown. It was just an incredible, fun, exciting time for basketball. And there was that one time when 3 out of the 4 Final Four teams in the NCAA tournament were Big East teams, which is crazy. And it was so exciting. And they all had their Nikes, and St. John's would have the red Nikes, and Georgetown had their Nikes, and Pittsburgh, which was a dope school with so many dope, iconic players, they had their Nikes. And, of course, Syracuse had the orange and the blue. And it was such a fucking cool time and such a fun time. And Connecticut and Boston College with little Michael Adams. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to watch those games. And, I just had so many great times as a kid, from about 11, 12, 13, all through my teens, those Big East games. And it was Big East Monday on ESPN. And Rick Pitino became a coach. And I have that coach, Jim Calhoun on Connecticut. It was awesome. And when the Villanova Wildcats, with the McLean boys and Easy Ed Pinckney they beat the Patrick Ewing Georgetown. I mean, that team was fucking scary. They didn't talk to the press. They would have their heads shaved. They were fucking scary, that Georgetown team. And Ronnie Cycli from Syracuse. It was just an incredible time with incredible personalities and incredible players and just great memories. And Lou Carnesecca was just in the center of it. He was in the center of so much of the memories of Big East basketball. And I know Chris Mullen, who is a friend of the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast and a friend in real life, he said that, he gave him his career. Like, he believed in him and pushed him and, gave him the opportunity to shine and in New York, being a Brooklyn kid. And, and St. John's University is right there in fucking Queens. And they were one of the centerpieces of college basketball. And if you go to St. John's University, I've only been there a couple times, you're like, this is it. It must have been such an exciting time to play St. John's basketball. It must have been such an exciting time to actually be a part of that Big East. And I just have so many memories from watching it. So may his memory be an incredible blessing for the great, beloved Lou Carnesecca. Louis Carnesecca. St. John's University has passed away at 99 years. A fantastic life.
I Am Rapaport Podcast.
What else is going on? I hope everybody's in the United States is dealing with the weather okay, because the weather's fucked up, or there's snow and storms and all that stuff. And of course, people are traveling because of post-Thanksgiving and blah, 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 blah. And I hope everybody is safe and warm. Safe and fucking warm. Would you rather be cold? Would you rather be hot? I can't tell. I don't know. I don't know. I'm from the Caucasus Mountains. My people are from the Caucasus Mountains. And I feel like, although I've never been to the Caucasus Mountains, I don't know much about the Caucasus Mountains. It feels cold. It sounds cold. Caucus. It sounds like a cold place. I don't know. Really, really cold or really, really hot. Not sure. In the heat, I fry like an egg. Like an egg. I'm so sensitive to the sun, yet I don't like being cold. So I'm sensitive to the sun, yet I don't like being cold. What do you prefer? Heat? Super duper heat or super duper cold? Or what can you withstand easier? I could tell you what I don't understand is Nick Cannon. I don't know if he's fucking around, but Nick Cannon is now talking about his mental health issues, and I love Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon's always been cool with me. He's always been very nice to me. I feel like he's a very, very good, earnest guy, and he moves and grooves, and I think he's about positivity. I've always got that feeling from him. He opened up about his mental health diagnosis. He says that he has been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Narcissistic personality disorder. And let me tell you something. If you get diagnosed enough, they could come up with something for you and everybody else in the world. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. But my man's got 12 kids. 12 fucking kids. 12 seeds. And he's talking about how, it was cute, it was fun, and now it's catching up with him. 12 fuck. I could have told you that, Nick. I could have, shit. I could have told you that. I got 2 of them motherfuckers, and it's a motherfucker. You got 12 of them from like 6 different women, 7 different women, 8, I don't know how many different women. That shit's got to be just exhausting. The amount of time, how are you? What are you doing? Every single night you got to check in. Did you do your homework? You need help with your homework? What if every single one of your 12 kids says, Dad, can you help me with your homework? You're not equipped for that. Nobody is equipped for 12 fucking kids. 12 kids he's got. And now he's saying it's catching up with him. He talks every year around the holidays. Nick Cannon seems to pop up about the kids because they're always like, what the fuck are you going to do for the holidays? Where are you going to have Thanksgiving? How are you? Like, how many turkeys do you need to feed 12 kids and the baby mamas and the traveling? And it just is a lot. So he's saying that he was diagnosed with ADHD. Everybody must have ADHD. Everybody that goes to a shrink comes away saying, I have some form of ADHD, which means, is ADHD a real thing? Obviously it's a real thing, but it's like, there's got to be levels to this. But I could have told you, Nick, and I say this with love and respect, 12 kids, of course you have a narcissistic personality. 12 fucking seeds? I get tired talking about your 12 kids. I get tired thinking about your 12 kids for 12 seconds. Your 12 kids, just this segment is exhausting. Imagining what the fuck you got to do in the hemming and the hawing and the price. And who lives with who and who's sleeping over where and moms. And it just like, what is it? What is it all? Why did you do it? But he'll figure it out. He's got a lot of resources, got a lot of money. And, he keeps going to get those diagnoses. Keep going to therapy. Knock yourself out. Let them tell you all the things you want. Me personally, I'm trying to wean off of my mood stabilizers. As you guys know, I'm on a 20 milligrams of Lexapro. That's my mood stabilizer. And I want to get off this shit. I need to get on another one when I get off of it. Trust me. I'm not going to go raw dog. You don't want me in the world raw dog. I am not equipped to go in the world raw dog. But I want to get off this one and then find a new therapist who can get me on another one. I got some anti-Zionist Jewish therapist. I don't trust him. But I'm trying to wean off that and then find something to replace it. Because rest assured, it does and will be replaced. Do not worry. It will be replaced. I will be on something. I just don't know what I will be on at this point. What else is happening? I hope everybody made it out of safe of that Black Friday, Cyber Monday shopping. Yo, just go to Amazon. Give Jeff Bezos the money. You people are every year they're doing this. They're duking it out in Target for a flat screen. They're duking it out in Target for diapers and all that stuff. Bezos got all that shit. You don't have to go into Costco or any of these places. Jeff to the left, Jeff Bezos got you covered. You don't have to put yourself in harm's way, fucking around, trying to get whatever you're trying to get. I'm not saying don't get the sales, get the sales. I Black Friday'd, but I Black Friday'd online. I stayed in the house on Friday. The other day, Friday, Cyber Friday, and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I don't want no smoke. I don't want any of the traffic. I don't want any of it. CVS, none of it. Wherever you're going, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Gimbals, you could do all that shit online. You don't have to go in there and get on some WWE shit to save $5. I'm not saying it's not worth saving $5, but there's other ways. Do your pre-shopping, okay, before Cyber Friday. See what you want and then order it online. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that as of the recording of this brand new banging I Am Rapaport stereo podcast, this fully disruptive I Am Rapaport stereo podcast, as we are in December, I would be remiss if I did not mention that it is 425 days. 425 days since October 7th, and there are still 101 hostages. There are 3 New Yorkers. There are 3 kids from the tri-state area. Sorry. There's 2 kids from New York, 1 kid from New Jersey. There's 13 women in Gaza. 13 women. 7 Americans are still being held hostage. It's 7 months. And I don't know if you guys saw Cadaver Joe Biden. Cadaver Joe Biden went to a bookstore and he, air quote, bought a book about Palestine, a propaganda book about Palestine, and he got photographed holding this book. And the book is just an anti-Jewish, anti-Israel, anti-Zionist book. And this is exactly why I said about a year ago today, voting for Dick Stain Donald Trump is on the table. You old bag of bones, you. You old bag of fucking bones. Are you going to read that book? Fuck no. Why the fuck would you be walking around publicly carrying that book so people could see it? Who are you playing games with, you senile bullshit artist? This is exactly why I opened up my mind and I said voting for Dick Stain Donald Trump is on the table. Why would you be carrying a Jew-hating propaganda piss fantasy novel with a bunch of lies and bullshit? You got some fucking nerve when there's 7 American hostages. 7 American hostages. And Jews are getting attacked left and fucking right all over the world. They're throwing bottles at Jewish girls, young schoolgirls in London. Zionist this, Zionist that. And you're reading a book and got photographed. You're not reading that book. Cadaver Joe, you old bag of bones. You're the president of the United States. You're not reading. You're not informed about what's going on and what's gone on in Judea, Samaria, in Israel for all these years. You went into a bookstore and that's the only book that you walked out of the bookshop with. That's the only book that you walked out of the bookshop with. You old bag of bullshit. And to think 22-year-old hostage, Eden Alexander from Tenafly, New Jersey, 20 minutes out of New York City. Born and raised in New Jersey, American Israel citizen, born in New Jersey. They put out a video. Baruch Hashem, he's alive. They put out a video. It's disgusting. A propaganda video. And matter of fact, Miles Jordan, play the part of Eden Alexander, who's now 22. He's had 2 birthdays in the tunnels of Gaza, 22 years old. Play the part of the video where he speaks in English.
Dear President Trump, my name is Eden Alexander. I am an American Israeli citizen currently being held captive in the Gaza Strip. As an American, I've always believed in the power of the United States. And now, I'm sending my message. Please, use your influence and the full power of the United States to negotiate for our freedom. Every day here feels like an eternity, and the pain from inside grows from day to day. Please, do not make the mistake Biden has been doing. The weapons he has sent are not killing us, and the unlawful sieges are now starving us. I don't want to end up dead like my fellow USA citizen, Hirsch.
Disturbing. This is so disturbing. And of course he was coerced, and they forced him to say all the things he said, and mentioning Trump and Netanyahu and ba. All this kid wants to do is get out of there. And his family and his mother and his father and his friends. And you're walking around Cadaver Joe Biden with a book talking about 100 years. I'm not even going to give the title of the book. Fuck that book. Fuck that fantasy piss propaganda novel. You might as well read Harry Potter. Fake books, fake information, propaganda. And I'm going to leave on this question. For anybody who's got any questions, I have a question. Why hasn't any of the 7 proxies of Iran who have been attacking Israel, not one of the Arab Muslim countries, why haven't they taken in the people of Gaza? Egypt, Lebanon, Iran, Iraq, Syria. Why? If there's a genocide going on, don't you want to help them escape the genocide? If there's starvation going on, don't you want to help them and feed them? 7 Iranian proxies are attacking Israel because of what Israel is allegedly doing to Gaza, yet 0.0 of these proxies take in Gazas, send aid, or do anything actual to help the people of Gaza. Why? Look up that question and give me some information. No one has an answer for me. No one has a real fucking... You're sending missiles in. Why don't you send some food in? Why don't you send some food in? You're good at shooting missiles. Shoot some fucking food into Gaza. Send some trucks into Gaza since you care so much about the people of Gaza. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Egypt, Lebanon, none of them, for some reason, I don't know the details, they want nothing to do with the quote-unquote innocent people of Gaza. Anyway, I'm done. Came so I disrupted. Came so I disrupted. See, I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend about the I Am Rapaport Stereo Biggity Podcast. Miles Jordan, a.k.a. the Bleach Brothers, a.k.a. the Diggity Dust Brothers. Take me out of here with something real nice. Take me out of here with something real loud. But most importantly, take me out of here with something real funky. It's I Am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. I'm out.